I think it did it.
Yeah, there's 4 people.
Yeah, because I can't see any of that on my screen.
Oh, you got to look at it on YouTube. You can see that there's people there.
All right.
I got to change the name of my camera. Wonder how I do that once I've already.
Because it still says testing. There's Paul. Hey, dude. All right.
I don't know how to change
Volume has to go. Oh, wait, that was brightness. Oh, crap.
I don't know how to
There we
change
go.
it.
Man, I am so technology challenged.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Harry. Vintage and Vino. I don't know their first names, but I do watch them.
So do I. And Book is here.
Yeah. I don't see how to change the name of my camera. Whoops.
Well, you know, all things considering for the nights you and I have had in the last 24 hours, that's okay.
Let me go out and come back, see if that works.
Okay. Now we have to get her back. Catherine, yes, I did. I did get your payment. And your bowl will go out tomorrow. Look, now she went to fix her thing, and now, like, where'd she go? Oh, there she is. Why is it asking me to edit? I don't want to edit display name. Suddenly, like, you know, pops up. Apparently, I could have edited your display name.
Oh, neat.
I see that was weird.
So it looks like you're in a different room.
No, you're actually just seeing the warehouse in daylight.
Oh.
I can't laugh. I'm making the camera shake. Get my knee off the leg of the table here. This is actually warehouse 13. That is the window at the other end, about 23 feet away.
Gotcha.
It's a big. That's why this became the warehouse. There was no living room furniture left because that got divvied out to everybody except for a platform rocker, which is carefully tucked over here in the corner. Nothing's on it. Big sheet over it, so no cat hair gets on it, because that's from the mid 1800s. Because Mike's dad inherited that, but he had a one-room apartment. He had nowhere to put it. And since it'll eventually be Mike's anyway, it's here because Mike's here. So
gotcha. Yeah, so it looks totally
that
different.
Was it. I mean, that was that and the chest of drawers that ended up back in here. I mean, for the most part, that's it. There's no real furniture because it all went to others. They took the living room furniture. So it's like, well, we have this big room and I need to empty that storage unit, and might as well.
A lot of challenges.
I have, but you know, best gift my mother ever gave me was find the humor in it as much as possible, because it just does help. It really does help you keep from, some days it keeps you from beating your head against the wall.
True story.
Yeah.
Oh, Babes is here. Hi, Babes.
Hey, Dean's here. And Misha's here.
Paul says, hey, Babes.
Yep. Now, Paul had something earlier, said, Jan be wanting me to spill the beans all weekend.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, she looks towards the ceiling trying to look angelic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, uh-huh.
Nope. Nope, I don't know nothing.
You go play that twirly blonde idea here. Oh, I know nothing.
Yeah. So Vintage and Vino, what is their names? I forget their names.
I don't know. I half the time don't know my scouts' names until they've been there for 3 years. So, funny because I don't work with the earliest kids when they first come in.
I am actually in my shop at home. So this is where we're doing shipping stuff, and everything was getting boxed up. Everything is boxed up. I just need to do the calculations and the invoices from our sale, but we got a little bit of a detour last night.
A little bit.
Little bit of a detour. So Dean and I went out for a ride last night and had dinner, and on the way home, a deer hit me on my motorcycle, and I went down.
Yeah, because they're solid.
Yeah.
They are all muscle, man.
I had all my gear on, so I'm just kind of bumped and bruises, and the little bit of road rash and stuff that I'm dealing with is actually from inside my leather jacket. So I'm just stiff and pissed at deer. So invoices didn't get done last night because I was kind of whining and
Well,
so
here's the next important question. How's the bike?
Right?
See, I get it. I get it. I don't ride, but I've known so many people in my life that do.
Yeah.
That's an important question.
Well, after Dean pulled me out of the ravine that I rolled into, we assessed the bike.
There's
yeah. She's got little tiny
little needle claws, yes.
Little needle claws.
Little baby needle claws.
She climbs my leg like a tree. So the bike, Dean's supposed to make me a list, so he can fix everything. So yeah, I'm good, guys. I'm good.
Was Babes okay? Bah.
Babes was freaking out. Babes did not go down. I went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you are, Vintage and Vino is right. You're a smart rider. You've got your leather and your helmet, and that's an important thing. And
gloves and boots and jeans that are too big for me, that are super thick. And I'm a new rider. I just learned last year, the first stimulus check that we got last year was what I used to buy my bike. So, and then I put 175 miles on the bike in the parking lot across the street, learning how
I can see how I would do that same thing. Yeah.
I mean, when I need to learn something new, I'm pretty hardcore. I don't do anything but. So yeah, there's it's missing some parts that fell off, but once I gathered up myself and figured out that nothing was broken, the bike started. So I put my helmet back on and my jacket back on, and we drove real slow home. Yeah.
So there's questions about the kitty.
Oh, the kitty. Oreo.
Kitty. There you go.
Oreo. Kitty. So Oreo, he's growing on me, but I was not happy about the cat. I had 3 rescue cats for a really long time, 19 years to be exact. And the last one, we lost him about 3 months ago, I think. And it was like way past time. He was in really rough shape. And I was like, no more pets for a while. I want to replace all the furniture and, all that other stuff. But Naomi, Dean's daughter, her kitty at her mom's house got pregnant and had kittens. So Naomi had been wanting to stop over at her mom's all the time to play with the kitties, and the kitties were starting to get adopted out. And this particular kitty she was extremely attached to. So Dean made an executive decision, and brought the kitty
it's
home.
Okay.
It's okay.
Having gotten rescue kitties, even had to bottle feed one once. Get the cardboard scratching posts, get that now and rub
Oh, yeah.
rub your hand over it, because you can train them to scratch, but you got to start
Yeah.
now. You know,
Yeah.
you can train them on what they can scratch on. My son laughs at me. I have a big chunk of cardboard just leaning against the wall in the hallway because the doctor thinks anything cardboard is hers. Well, it took a water gun and a long while to go get away from the boxes. And there's some boxes at Paul's in his warehouse that look like, a tiger gnawed on them. And that's from the doctor. And so she shredded the boxes, but she loves that piece of cardboard more than she loves her scratching thing.
Yeah. Well, this one's still teething, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, doesn't hurt anybody or whatever. If anybody saw my video, Babes made me a new display thing. And then I found out that we had a new resident.
Yeah, that was on the end.
Yeah. But
yes, you buttered her up a lot with that display thing.
Yeah. But this one just kind of takes off from one end of the house and goes up over furniture at like 55 miles an hour, up the wall, and But he's really sweet.
Does the little one sleep through the night yet?
I think he slept through the night last night, but he went after Dean's feet a couple of times and woke him up, and went after me a couple times. Naomi's at a friend's this weekend, so we had kitty cat duty, so we brought him out in the shop, and I
still sometimes have to do playtime with the doctor with, a feather toy that's on a stick and a string, so that about an hour before bed, I tire her out.
Yeah.
So she will at least let me get to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never had a kitten before. So my last 3 rescue cats, they were all well over a year old when I got them. So, they were full size cats. So
yeah.
But Oreo found Dean's guitar case. And he was creeping in there because Dean was playing a little bit before we went out, and the guitar case is empty, so it's like a tunnel that he's going through. So
Teresa Lean, yes, the doctor is named after Doctor Who. There were 4 kittens born in the shed next door. The mother was named River Song, so of course the kittens had to be named Doctor Who. And we thought the doctor was a boy. Doctor's a girl. Amelia turned out to be a boy, so that one quickly got renamed Pond. One of them got named Davros because, and I wish I had a picture to prove this, it had the sideways image in black on its forehead right here of a Dalek. It was this perfect like triangle with a stick coming out the side. It looked like a Dalek. So that became Davros. And Rory was the one I couldn't catch. And now 6 years later, Rory is back in the area. So we're working with Rory. He's still outside, but he knows the whistle I always used to use to feed them. So he comes right to me. He now lets me pet him, but he's got to get to the point where I can handle him. So I feed him every day, and I pet him every day, and I do what I can to get him to trust me, because he can't come inside until he's checked by a vet, and he has to be used to me being able to handle him, to pick him up, and we're not there yet. So it's going to take a couple of months before we can get him, and then he'll get fixed.
How old do they have to be to get him fixed? Because Dean needs to do that.
I don't know.
Need to know that.
Yeah. Because I know the doctor was a few months old. So I don't remember. You'll have to find a vet in the area.
Yeah.
And check around, because vet prices can vary greatly from vet to vet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Oreo really does want to chat with everyone.
Yeah, because you were moving your hands, and he was like, "Oh, what's that?" And he went after the screen.
Toy.
Yeah, hopefully he'll get down on the floor, but we're trying to keep him company so that I have my grandkids currently live with me. My son and my daughter-in-law and my grandkids. My grandson is 7 and my granddaughter is 2. And the 2-year-old thinks that the kitty is like, I want to squish this kitty. So yeah. So
usually that ends real quick with a bad scratch.
True.
Trisha's here, and she says boys can be fixed at 6 weeks. I'm assuming she means cats.
Babes. I'm assuming she means cats. Babes, you need to make an appointment so he doesn't spray all over the place. That's funny.
Now, Book has a tip. She said that they hate scratching on tape.
Lies.
So she had put tape on her furniture, but
I put tape on my furniture, and all 3 cats were like, "Ooh, this is cool. Let's get it stuck to our paws and rip it off."
Well, they were adults, though. It may be a thing that, for the kids.
Yeah. So what's going on with you, Miss Nance? I mean,
I have done something where I've put my hip a little out of place, and it's seriously pinching a nerve. So, and of course, the medical doctor just throws oxycodone at it, which doesn't take it all away. So, and I went to the chiropractor, and he couldn't get the hip all the way back in the joint because there was too much swelling. So I'm going to be seeing a doctor real soon.
So are you on like hopped up ibuprofen or something?
Yeah, it's oxycodone acetaminophen.
Ooh, this could get fun.
Oh yeah, in about 45 minutes because I took it right before. They were laughing at me at work last night.
I bet.
Well, because the filter starts to shred.
I don't know anything about that. What does that even mean? I don't have one.
You don't have a filter.
No. It just comes out.
Jose, I have that problem with short-haired dogs.
Allergies?
Yeah. I can't have a short-haired dog around unless you're going to make absolutely 100% sure that you vacuum every other day and that dog gets brushed all the time and gets a bath every week. Otherwise, because we had a Rottweiler here for a while.
Oh, really?
While one brother went through his divorce. And that was a real challenge. And that was the only way I could breathe because I get asthmatic. That's not a good thing. Not a good thing. So
Paul is encouraging Babes to do what now?
Something that's going to get him in trouble, probably.
Wait. That reminds me. Yes, I'm talking. I got to order my Philly Flipper t-shirt right now. How do I get to it?
I got mine. I wore mine last week.
Yeah, I need one for Babes because he's planning all these shenanigans, and I want him to wear that shirt when he does them.
Well, they're already planning shenanigans about railroad track.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Him and Leroy were trying to get him to go do. He needs that shirt. Hope somebody needs to post me that link.
For those of you who didn't see that live that she was on, apparently sections of railroad track are a big deal thing for metal workers.
Yes.
Because of are they using it as an anvil or just melting it down for the steel to make swords?
No, they're using it. They're using it as an anvil.
Yeah.
And apparently it can be like a very small, like 4-inch piece or whatever, because jewelers even use them as a jeweler's anvil. Yeah,
that's one thing we didn't find. I have some of my great grandfather's jewelry tools, but I never found the anvil.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have found the little anvil.
So Vintage and Vino, I am in Rochester, New York. And Nancy is, where are you?
I'm in southeastern Pennsylvania. And if any of you what is it called? Mayor of, what is that? The Kate Winslet cable thing that's on. It's Mayor of something or other, and they've been filming that here in Delaware County.
Oh, yeah?
And oh yeah, she said the Philadelphia accent, the regional Delaware County accent, because it's not quite Philadelphia's accent, but it's close, made her throw things trying to learn it. So apparently we have a very difficult accent to do. Mayor of Easttown. That's what it is. And it's some kind of drama miniseries on HBO.
Neat.
And
Christina says it's got two episodes left.
oh, okay. Yeah, because I know they were filming in the area, and then it had to stop because of 2020. And then they were back filming a little more, and so, oh Lord, Dean's done research on this, that there's YouTube videos on turning a chunk of track into an anvil.
Oh yeah, you just ignore him and Paul. That's what I plan on doing.
So, what did I do with my questions? I had actually written down some questions last night.
That's an excellent idea.
And of course, lost them. Wait, I think they're in here. They're in here. So, so you're still kind of new at this, but you have been selling stuff for a while at the Rehome?
So it's called Rehouse Architectural Salvage, and they have been doing stuff on commission for me for 3 years.
So far, what's the smallest thing you've sold that has sold for way more money than you expected?
The smallest thing. I think I would say they're vintage printer stamps, like from the old printmaker's place. They're metal and they're really heavy, and I'm not sure what kind of
Are they pictures or letters?
Pictures.
And it's like a metal, sometimes they're zinc, sometimes they're copper sheet, and it's on a block of wood.
Yeah. Like I said,
I have some of those somewhere.
Book just asked. She's like, getting a big different vibe off you, Jan. You okay? Book, you might have missed it, but I got hit by a deer on my motorcycle last night. So I'm just hopped up.
She's calm. That's the problem. She's calm.
Yeah. I'm not my hyperactive self. I'm just sore.
Yeah, we're both that way today for different reasons. We're both kind of sore, and we're like, oh, and I was like, I'm doing this anyway.
Yeah, I didn't sleep well because every time I moved, I either got attacked by a kitten, or like
the little feet we see coming up to you now.
Yeah, he's
which is really stinking cute, you know.
Yeah.
And then I had the fun of I had to work till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
and then Mike said, let's go out and get breakfast together. So I think I got to bed at 9 to wake up at 1:30 and try to move.
So what's next on, what was your smallest thing, Nan?
My smallest thing was something I almost swept into the trash.
I've probably done that.
Small. So, okay, now I got this pin from Serendipity by Melanie. So let me cover it. So it was only from like my finger down. So the thing was only just slightly over an inch long. And it was this little tiny picture on celluloid in a little tiny metal frame. And I could see the stripes and the letter A. So it was baseball player. It turned out it was a pitcher for the Philadelphia A's, which was the team that started baseball in this area, which later became the Philadelphia Phillies. It had a scratch on it, but this thing, because it was so rare, because it was so old, that thing was barely over an inch long, and it sold for $300.
Wow.
And
That's
I had
awesome.
put that on eBay years ago when we were cleaning out Aunt June's parents' house, because some of her parents' stuff was still there. So there was stuff in the attic of their house, and it was just on the floor. And I had stepped on it, and I looked down, I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's had a photo on it. What is that?
There's a lot of stuff I've stepped on and been like, "Ooh, that was probably valuable."
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, you know.
But I mean, I've been anything that I questioned from the beginning, you know, obviously, you know, we've talked about this before. I came into this situation knowing nothing. I inherited this house in 6th generation home. She was an antique dealer for 35 years. She had a really good eye for everything. But I mean, you can't, it's not like antiques have barcodes on them. Or, in Google
they're not
Lens,
always easy to look up, especially if you're starting from a knowledge base of pretty much zero.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm still learning. I mean, as this channel has been growing, I mean, I've learned so much. I started out with, you know, finding Dr. Lori's binge link, and I learned a lot of stuff from that. And there was actually a lot of stuff where I was like, oh, that's what that was. Yeah, I threw it out. You know,
you and I had talked about vintage Christmas wrapping paper because you just didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, but I needed space too.
Well,
I mean, I didn't have a choice from the beginning.
Yeah.
But now I'm learning, and you know, I'm trying to sell everything for as best I can, or in the best way I can. You know, if I find somebody that's really excited about a particular thing, I'm like, if you'll take 100 of them.
You get that pay.
Or 200 of them, I'd be happy to give you a discount if you could just take it off my hands.
Hey, I already started making that back because I sold the vignette ones on my live sale.
Oh, good, nice.
Yeah, so, and I will start getting paper doll books up on eBay, and probably some of them at the live too. So
yeah, you'll have to let me know if you're interested in the calendars. Jan, do you think your mom remembered and spoke of stuff you are now finding? Yes. My mother, I talked to her every day. She texted every day when she was alive for the most part, and she talked about everything. Sometimes I paid attention. Sometimes I didn't pay attention. You know, there were times where I was just, I cannot believe you're accumulating more stuff. You know, and then other times I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. But, you know,
depends on the day sometimes.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, when I have friends over there helping me out, or, you know, Dean's helping me out, he'll pick it up and he'll be like, let's toss this. And I'm like, well, let me tell you why it's here. And I can remember, you know, what she had planned to do with it, you know. And when I was working on the outside, there were a lot of people that were just like, why are there 45 bowling balls in this yard? Like all over the place. And I'm like, well, let me show you the buckets of glass shards and the buckets of tile shards and all of the bags of, you know, concrete grout
stuff. The plans to do stuff.
Right.
But
then it never happened.
Yeah, I have fabric that way. Some of it'll be in bags with pattern for it too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Crazy. It's been awesome. The last couple, I have made more progress in the last 3 months since I started my channel than I mean, in a short period of time. You know, I've made an enormous amount of progress on the property. And Dean and I we were talking about it last night. You know, he was like, there's no way we're doing this in 2 years. We got at least 6.
Yeah, I tried to tell you that.
And I was like, no, 2 years. Quiet.
I think now that you have live sales, as long as you can manage to keep up with that, that'll help. But you've also got stuff you need to get onto the better market, which for some things, which eBay is better for some things, and live sales are better for others.
I think that I'm just, a lot of people said get rid of the big stuff and the most valuable stuff first.
Now you have so much, you have to literally just work on an area.
Yeah.
And whatever's in that area, work through it, do it. I mean, you can do theme sales too, because you've got some of it so organized.
I was thinking of that.
And
the idea that I came up with, tell me what you think of this, Nance. I was like, okay, once I get the house sorted, let's say all the teddy bears are together, all the dolls are together, stuff like that. Okay, this week I'm going to learn about teddy bears, and I'm going to flood my Instagram with questions about teddy bears. I'm going to research teddy bears. I'm going to do videos on teddy bears, and then draft all of the teddy bears on eBay and then advertise on my channel. This is Teddy Bear Week, and then just launch all the auctions.
Yeah, you could.
And I mean, in that aspect, I could get rid of a lot of stuff all at once.
You could, and creating content for your channel at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always up to something, either me or Babes or.
Why does that not surprise me that you are always up to something?
I am always up to something, absolutely, and I've always I'm excited about my community tab opening up because I can even if people don't read it, I'm just excited that I can put it there.
So we were talking about the stuff we find, and Teofane said like Patrick's vintage Kotex. Yeah. So I wanted to show Teofane something.
Oh no. Pampers.
1963 Pampers.
Wow.
It even advertises the fact that these are the brand new, has it on the box about how these are absolutely brand new, that no plastic pants needed, because the way they got their product out was this is what they would send to the hospitals to give away to new moms. And when I inherited the book collection, we found an entire case of them in the attic. I was getting about $26 a box, but I flooded the market because I had so many. So I just packed them in a box and stuck them in the end of the living room. Well, I started pulling them out again, so I have to get them listed.
Now, see, stuff like that, when I found it in the house, I was like, oh, this is really cool. But, I mean, I didn't know anything about this community. I didn't know anything about resellers and, the take the time to list all this stuff and you're making money and everything else. I was just like, oh, well, that's cool. And out the door. Yeah, I threw it all out. That's not, but I mean, in my opinion, that didn't have anything to do with my mom. That didn't have anything to do with the stuff that she cherished.
Yeah.
She thought it was cool because she collected nostalgia. And if she had an old box of Pampers like that, it was probably still laying around the house. But I don't think it had value to her. I don't know. I could be wrong. What do I know?
Well, some of it, I mean, she bought for a reason, but you're finding so many things where you just don't know necessarily what the reason is.
Right.
Because there's such a huge variety, like all those kids' toys.
Yeah. Well, I know that she knew the value of vintage Fisher-Price.
Yes.
I knew that she knew that toys were collectible and that toys were emotional purchases for people. I mean, she knew a lot more than I gave her credit for, and she read a lot of books. She would sit, she didn't have heat or water in the house. So a lot of times she would, there's this great big Wegmans that's, it's probably about 20 miles from her house or something. And they have like this great big sitting area and coffee area and stuff. And man, she would go through the magazine rack and she would pick up all the magazines that interested her. And she would camp out at Wegmans all day long, and people knew her. And people would see her because she'd sit there. She also had a McDonald's crowd that she hung out with. She had
funny.
a Tim Hortons crowd, and they all, you know, she'd get talking to people and they'd be like, hey, did you know this is worth money? So then all of a sudden she would go pick up 50 of them.
You know, yeah. I had that problem with June. If one was good, 5 was better. This was for everything. Clothing, good stuff. If one was good, having it in every color was better. You know,
Tiffany, that is brilliant.
Um,
Doll collectors use diapers to put over a doll's head.
I saw that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I also saw that Jose has a lot of antique books and would be interested in books from like the 1800s and stuff.
I have tons of them. I don't know how to market them.
Stephanie has, well, with books, first you've got to look up and see if there is an online market. I've done all mine through eBay just because I don't need yet another selling platform, but there is ABE Books, which was an outlet for small booksellers to go online, but I don't know how many people know about ABE Books.
I found them as a resource. Somebody shared that with me early on, said look up books here, but it got exhausting.
Yeah. And the hard part of selling books too is it is a massive market and there's so many varieties. Stephanie Patterson made a comment about, you know, having some kids books that are antiques, but it is a problem because just because a book is old doesn't always mean it has value is also the problem. And with kids books, it can be, the nostalgia factor is huge for children's books.
Yeah.
And then you have the collectors of authors and the collectors of illustrators, which all too often on the live sales, I see people completely forget to mention the illustrator. If there is even only one color plate opposite the title page, mention that illustrator. It matters. And if it has, and I don't have an example anywhere near me, if it has an embossed artwork cover, show that cover, because some of the covers were different illustrators that specialized just in doing those really cool looking embossed and gilded covers. Sometimes there's even initials hiding in that artwork that way the collectors can tell who did them. And I know there's the Delaware Art Museum Library, and they have a huge collection of books that were a collection given to them that's just cover art. And they are so helpful. You can send them an email to their librarian, and the staff will help you identify them sometimes. And they have a whole list of different initials for different people.
I learned about photogravure from Noelle. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know anything about it. And she had found an art book at a garage sale for $3 that apparently people were, this kitten wants my tea. And I can't imagine adding caffeine to this kitten. No. Anyway, they would take the book apart and they would sell the pages for $60 to $80 a piece.
Yeah.
So she ended up selling the complete book for $2,500.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden,
and that's in the book community. That is something that drives people that do book selling, just book selling, drives them crazy. I used to go to the Fort Washington Book and Ephemera show, and sometimes I went with a friend of mine to help him sell because he was an antiques book dealer on the side. He was a dentist in real life, but he also had this whole other gig going on, and that used to be something that drove them crazy, is people who would completely dismantle a book just to get to the plates, but if not even bothering to find out that a complete book might be worth 5-6 times more than just the individual plates.
Now, in my defense, the only ones I considered selling that way, they were already
Yes, if they're already apart.
Yep.
Okay, so are they nearby? No, they're out in the kitchen. I picked up I crashed Paul's live. Philly Flipper was live, and I crashed it because there are 3 very sweet ladies in Swarthmore that now have me picking stuff up for them. You just love playing with that kitty.
I am trying to just drink my tea without having the cat stick a
but they're all up there in years. And it started with one because I know her daughter, but her daughter lives in New England and her son lives out in the West. So she needed help and I was around. I'm nearby. And I knew her from when we were teenagers. So I've been helping her. Well, she shared my name. So I have gone and picked up stuff. And then my job is to get it to wherever I could donate it to. And then if there's anything in there that I see that I could make a profit on, then they all 3 now are telling me, you take that and that's your payment for helping them, which is nice. But one of them gave me this massive keyboard that even has the equalizer on the end and all these fancy knobs, high-end keyboard. This is so out of my league, I have no clue. And it never left my car. We got it into my car, and as I'm driving out of her driveway, I'm going, you know what? I need to go see Paul. This is something Paul could deal with.
I see.
And then I get there, and I'm going, oh, crap. I bet he's live.
Yeah.
So I was like, but I need this out of my car. So I crashed it live.
I saw you in chat warning him that you were on your way.
So I came in, and once he finally opened the door, because he didn't really believe I was there, I don't think, and gave him this thing, then he let me come on to his live so everybody could see me. And as I'm walking out, I step on something, and I look down, and here's this fantastic lithograph, a big lithograph too. Yep. I mean, the thing's like 14 by 12. And it's this fantastic bird lithograph with a footprint on it. And I'm going, what are you doing? Because, in my head, books, old books and prints. And I've been doing that even since I was 18, selling off old books. Because in a house with 6 kids, there was a huge book collection here that I had started selling off. And I was just like, that's Audubon. Audubon is a big deal.
Did you see the chat after you left?
I didn't get a chance to see too much of it. I'm sure they were like going nuts over Audubon. And it's the book itself, not even all of it was there. So I could see why Paul wanted to throw it away. But Paul had no idea because it's not his realm. Well, the hard part is that because it's lithograph and because it's a bigger size, you really have to have the right stuff to ship it in. And I have some. That's why it's sitting in the kitchen so I could see if the ones I pulled out actually fit it. Because you need a backboard and a clear envelope, a clear plastic bag to go over it so it doesn't shift around. Otherwise, it's all the paper's old and gets brittle.
Dr. Lori had done a video on how to ship prints, and she did, the backboard, and she showed actually just using a garbage bag and taping the garbage bag to the
and I have
making like a pocket.
We have these. So I picked them up. I mean, it's just a little thing, but it's clear and it's a good size. And I have one right now in my little trash bag there. But I picked up a case of these. So they're the perfect size that I can put them over any backboard piece and then tape it down like that so it protects it.
Yeah.
And so it's just getting the right size cardboard, and then I'm gonna see about selling them off.
Well, the other thing I'm scared of, Nance, is I have found a lot of artwork that is not in frames, and it's so old that it's brittle. Like,
yes.
I don't know that I've posted the content yet, but I've cleared that bookshelf in the hallway that I was trying to clear out so that we could get furniture down the hall. I went through that and I moved that, and behind it it was probably 4 feet by 3 feet. And it was like this 1920s maybe looking lady. And then it had a great big Coca-Cola brand. I mean, I know that this thing is somebody would go absolutely nuts over having this thing, but moving it, I don't know if I should tape it to a board now. And
Ooh.
you know what I mean? I just,
Yeah,
some of
I mean
this stuff is
that is
just
a problem, and it is something that, especially if it's a painting, you have to be so careful with.
yeah.
And not only do you need to put something to back it, but you need something to protect the front. And I do know that I've seen paintings when I used to work at the museum come in, and they often take quilt batting and use that on the front.
Well, that's not a bad
to
idea.
protect it, because it's not going to rub. You can't put like paper over the front of an oil painting. It rubs on the paint, and if the paint is coming loose off the canvas or anything, then that can become a problem. But I've seen them use quilt batting to help protect the front, and they've also done that to protect those frames that have all of the fancy plaster work.
Yeah,
I've seen those come in wrapped around the frames too.
Yeah.
Mike had an interesting comment here about a neighbor wanting to sell tons of old Barbie dolls and clothes for them. Have you had anybody start and ask you to do things like that yet?
Asking me to sell for other people?
Yeah.
If they did, no came out of my mouth.
You've got a lot.
That the question didn't even register.
Yeah.
No.
That is something that I have found right from the start. I joined eBay when it was only 2 years old.
Oh, I've been on eBay
the first things I sold, I didn't even have pictures, because I sold off my Cher doll and her dressing room. They got me hardly any money. What got me the money was the clothes, because I had a lot of the Bob Mackie designed outfits that he redesigned for the doll. And Bob Mackie in the 70s and 80s was a massive, extremely well-known designer of clothing, because he did the Sonny and Cher show. He did stuff for Cher's concerts. He did Carol Burnett. He did costumes and clothing for so many shows and so many stars in Hollywood, that when the doll came out, she wanted some of her most well-known outfits, which were his, to be downsized to be for this doll. I made more money off of those clothes, and I didn't even have photos because I didn't have a way to do them.
Now, are you saying you sold those for somebody else?
No, I sold those for me.
Oh, I thought that was
got
his
me
question.
a scanner, and then after the scanner, and I made so much money, I was able to get a digital camera. I kept working my way up. But as people I knew found out that I was selling, they kept asking me, hey, would you sell this? Would you sell that? And would you sell this? And I would tell them, okay, 50-50.
Yeah.
That cuts out a lot of people that seriously aren't serious.
Yep.
50-50, because you're doing 100% of the work.
Yep.
And 100% of the shipping supplies.
Yep.
And so 50-50. And if you ever have anybody ask you, that will clear out a lot of the ones who are asking you, because they don't want it to be that high.
And that's the other reason that I didn't balk at Rehouse's offer of being 50-50 commission, because they had the trucks, they had the people, they were coming in the house and helping, they were carrying the stuff out of the house. It would get to the store. They were cleaning up the wood and, the lemon oil and the all that other stuff. Anything that was broken, they repaired it. There were some things that, they even painted and repurposed. And we still split the profit, but the amount, and there's no way. I wouldn't,
because they're taking care of all of that.
Right.
And this is why, because TFN already got the answer in there. This is one of the reasons I brought it up, about his comment before about the Barbies, is that, and TFN gave him the answer, is the clothes are the key thing with the collectors.
I have a
And
lot of
sometimes,
old
I mean,
clothes.
if you have to look at it from the finance point of view. I have occasionally still, even though I have all this now in my house, I will once in a blue moon still do that where I will take a 50-50 commission,
Mhm.
but it completely depends on how high end is it. Because especially as my health has just taken, since the inflammation markers keep getting higher and higher for lupus,
Mhm.
I've had more and more problems with muscles and inflammation and flare-ups and things. So I can't stand 8 hours a day anymore.
Right.
So I've had to find other ways to balance out the finances. So there have been times where if it's something a high enough value, I have said, okay, yeah, I've got all my own stuff to do, but I will take care of this too.
Yeah.
And you have to consider that if doing this reselling is a big chunk of your finances.
Well, you also have to
Consider it, but be choosy. It's
Yeah.
okay to be choosy. It's certainly okay to tell people, look, I'm just too busy with my own stuff right now. But you could do it yourself. I have actually made money teaching people how to do eBay.
Yeah.
I've gone to their house, shown them all the things they have to do, how to get through it. For those that were, a little more technology challenged than me, and they're usually about 20 years older than me,
Mhm.
and gotten them going. And I know that, and I've gone and done that, and you're usually there for about 3 hours. And I said to the very first one, I said, I'll do it for $50 and I'll teach you. And they went, oh no, that's too low. And they gave me 100. And then they told different friends, and every one of them gave me $100 for being there for 3 hours.
Yep.
And we went through everything: photos, the descriptions, the shipping.
Mhm.
We went through all of it in 3 hours from start to finish. And 4 of the 7 that I did that to are still selling.
Nice.
And they're selling off the stuff that they have collected for years. The 4 that are still selling, one of them just turned 81, and the other 3 are in their 70s. But they're selling off, they're telling their kids and grandkids, hey, I have all this. If you want any of it, they send them pictures. You don't want this? Fine. And then they sell that.
Yeah, and it's getting easier and easier.
They're being smart about it. They're taking action to make sure it doesn't get into a dumpster.
Right.
Like the one said, all my kids are from out of the area. He says there's no way they'd be able to come and do this. So he's the 81-year-old, and he's doing it now for them, and he's been doing it for the last 7 years.
Mhm. Well, they're also, it's becoming easier and easier for them to sell things, and they can take vacations. And it's not, I don't know, it's just, especially with people moving. I mean, there's a lot has happened in the world where people don't necessarily want to stay where they thought they would always be. And this cat is, I mean, really?
Yeah. Mike Cundiff has a comment about photographing each outfit when there's hundreds of outfits. Yes, that could be a lot. The key thing, if there's that many, and it depends on the age of, if you're talking about doll clothes, it depends on the age of the doll clothes. If it is the early stuff from the 50s and 60s, you absolutely are going to want to do one outfit at a time. But if it's the more like the stuff from the 70s, the stuff from the 80s, you can do them as bundles. You can do them as, 10 or 15 or 20 outfits at a time and sell them as a lot.
Yeah.
So it's all, and that's the same with a lot of stuff like that. A lot of little smalls. Sometimes it's just better to just do them as a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I know, marbles are a good way, because if marbles are a problem,
There's so many marbles.
But the other problem is that there are marbles that collectors are hunting for that can be worth a lot. And I never knew that. And I sold my marbles at a yard sale, and some of these were marbles. I didn't realize that those funny little tan ones were the earliest clay marbles.
And
they were in there,
it's not even something I've researched. It's not
Yeah.
even something I've researched
I didn't know until recently. I was watching a live sale from somebody, and I don't even remember who it was, and they lit up their marbles with a black light. Mind blown, right? I never, ever would have thought that there'd be uranium marbles.
How fun.
Wasn't that wild? I
I
never
love
knew
black
that.
light. Black light's my new favorite toy.
I sold them to somebody that lives on the next street years ago because they wanted to fill one of those glass lamps that you fill the base, and they wanted to fill it with marbles. And I'm like, okay, yeah, here.
I mean, I can't possibly research every single thing I find and find the last 2,000 years worth of history on every
But I'll
single
tell
item.
you,
I can't do that
if
in
I
my
had those
lifetime.
marbles now, I would be shining a black light on it. Take out the ones that glow, sell them separately, and then sell the rest as a bulk lot.
That is so
And let somebody who
I
collects
can't
it
wait.
deal with it. But that's what I would do if I had them.
I can't wait to get back to the house. Now I wanted to put the black light on the marbles. I know 3 different places I've been saving marbles as I find them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, Thrift You did it. Okay. I couldn't remember who does it. I stop in at so many lives because I want to give everybody a chance to have the lives. It really does matter if you can stay there and watch even for like 5 minutes and to give them a thumbs up because of the algorithm.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that are jumping on doing lives. I was up at 2:00 in the morning Friday night, and all of a sudden Lego Man was on. Now
Brandon.
you should hear about it. Now Jan's seen Lego Man on some of the lives at Johnny's channel. He has started because he just graduated high school. So he's done high school now. He and his mom, Miss Ivy, did a live pop-up live jewelry sale at 2:00 in the morning.
Why not?
But this kid knows his jewelry. His mom has had an antique booth his whole life. And he has had an interest in jewelry and vintage jewelry. And he's been selling that off since he was 9.
Wow.
So he's got great knowledge of this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's so funny that it's Lego Man of the Midwest. And then here's this guy selling jewelry. So for the summer, they're going to start doing pop-up jewelry sales.
Nice.
And then, and who was it?
He's a smart kid. He
is a very smart kid.
He's going to be retired by the age of 30. How much you want to bet?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And another one who's popped up, well, she always does live sales of jewelry, is Flippin' Crazy. But Lisa has had a special problem come up. So she's going to be doing even more because one of her kitties is quite sick.
Aww.
So she's got vet bills. Apparently there's a blood clot involved, which they hope the medication has now solved the problem, but they've still got to go through a lot of tests. So she's just really upping her game. She's doing more pop-up lives, and she's also doing, and this is something that Melanie from Serendipity by Melanie and I were talking about, to do a sale where it's a pre-recorded sale, and you put and Lisa at Flippin' Crazy does a lot of these. And
I saw Julie do it.
Yeah, and I was thinking about maybe doing some of those
and
with some of these books that I have, because you line them up and you give them like numbers underneath it or an ABC, whatever. But you have to make sure that people understand that you can't edit your comment, because you have to look at the timestamp of when they put the comment in to know who was the first person.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was an interesting way. And she was the first person I've seen do that.
I mean, it's a great community for, I mean, especially if there's like hidden resellers out there that don't do Facebook, they don't do YouTube, they're just antique dealers, or, you know, looking for specific things. Pardon me, sorry, I only had a couple hours of sleep. what a great place to, I mean, they could be in 5 sales at once on YouTube, and
Yeah.
everybody, you know, they find these sellers that have the good eye, that know that they're picking up good stuff, you know, like Trish and Pat, and you know, they start to get accustomed to these particular people and go, I like what they pick. And
Yeah.
then they don't have to go out and look for it.
That's true.
They can just settle in on YouTube and
then
find
there's
all this
ones like
stuff.
you and I, which I think skew that demographic.
I mean,
because we have, you know, we're finding such a huge variety of stuff.
Right. But you are outsourcing too.
I am, because, you know, some weeks I go, you know, I'm not finding a good, I like to have, like, you know, I like to have something like him. Now, he was cool to find, but he's a Shawnee. And the only reason I knew what he was is because Misty at Thrifty Junker Vintage Hunter had sold one about 3 months ago. Yeah. And I like to try to find these nice gems. Yeah. But I don't always find them. Now, this past week, I had that gorgeous perfume bottle that was, you know, the thing was about 6-7 inches high. The stopper alone was about 5 inches of that height. And that was out of one of the boxes here. But I don't always find gems every week out of the boxes here. So I do source, but for me, it is partly a job. You know, for me, it is a financial thing. So,
well, I'm going to let you
don't have to worry about that quite so much.
I'm going to let you check out I'm going to go get some more ibuprofen. My body just aches so bad.
You go get your meds and something to drink. Make sure Kitty doesn't cross your keyboard. No, Kitty. And I will.
Check out comments or something.
I will. I'm trying to figure out one, because Jose said that's the problem I had with that kind of sale, and I'm trying to figure out what kind of sale he was talking about.
This Kitty is so codependent.
Oh yeah, Book. I do like to hunt. I mean, it is cool. It is cool to hunt, but at the same time, I'm mindful of. I have all this. I have all this. I'm very picky. I'm very picky about what I pick up. You know, I don't go out and pick up a lot. Careful, Jan.
Got it. I got it.
Oh, I could see a singer back there. Someday Jan's going to have to like show us her shop, because I got a shot of that one day, and she's got incredible lineup of vintage sewing machines. Because that's one thing she does. She rehabs vintage sewing machines. And I really miss having a good working sewing machine. I grew up working on a 1930s one. So, yeah, Julie, she is, poor girl, because she's stiff and sore. I'm sore. I'm not moving. If I move, you guys are going to hear words come out of my mouth that you shouldn't hear. I'm actually on oxycodone right now. I have put my hip out of place, and yes, I do see that beneath the bench, Book. There's a beautiful one under there. I twisted the wrong way, and my hip popped out of joint. Ever since I damaged the IT band, that occasionally happens, but it went really out, and the swelling was so bad that the chiropractor could not get the joint all the way back in. So the hip is still a little out of whack, and it's pinching a nerve so that there's a muscle that goes crosswise on my leg, across the top of my left leg, across the upper thigh. And that gets like a steel band and hurts so bad that I can't even move. And I pushed myself to work last night because the car's having issues. But I'm also off until Friday because I get my second shot on Tuesday. So I made sure everything was clear. But I'm seriously thinking of if this gets too much, I may head for the ER just to get checked out and see if they can do something. Oh, you thought, Jose, you thought it wasn't. Oh, people fast forward to get the item faster and buy them before everyone else can. Huh. I never even thought of that. Going through boxes. Oh, Candy. Hello. So Candy, Candy sounds like she's having the same fun Jan and I have. No idea what to ask for the items. Well, the first thing is to identify it. It's always the first thing you need to do. And, oh, wow. Old dolls. Oh, wow. And they're from different parts of the world? Oh, cool. Well, always research on eBay if you can and look up under sold. Or I tend to look up under completed because it also shows you what didn't sell. But sometimes things didn't sell because the price is way too high. And usually if you can't find comps for something specific, and I had a couple people give me grief about a Hager wheelbarrow planter that I sold at one of my live sales because they said I only found one. I found it on Etsy, and the one I found had the label on it. So it probably could have gone for a lot more on eBay, but it was a big piece. It was big. I wanted it out of the way. And so I put it into a live sale. Now it sold, and I feel it sold pretty well. It was a piece I bought to resell. I made money on it. I was happy with what I got. If it's worth more than that and that person chooses to sell it for more than that, that's fine with me too, because I'm happy with what I got. So sometimes if you cannot find something, it doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't have any worth. It may be that that item is rare enough that you have to make a choice. And I would put it up for sale. I would say with some of those dolls from the different parts of the world, you may not be able to find them. If you choose to put them up onto a platform like eBay or Etsy or whatever platform you want to sell them on, even if it's Facebook Marketplace, put it at the price that you are comfortable with getting for it. If it's on eBay, it's an auction and it goes higher, that's awesome. If it doesn't, you've got what you're happy with. So sometimes that's what you've got to do, and see what happens. You know, it's kind of like that old adage of, you know, throw it against the wall and see what sticks. Oh, kitten. I can tell when you jerk, Jan, when it's the kitten.
He's like, let's go.
Wait till she gets taller and can reach your butt and does that and goes, feed me.
You know,
I still get that from the doctor now and then, and you suddenly jump. How?
This is not my kitty. This is Naomi's kitty. Babes and I are grandma and grandpa to this kitty, and we're only keeping him occupied because Naomi's not home this weekend. So
we all know how this works, right? We all know in this chat how this works. It's Naomi's kitty, but that cat is already all over Jan, loving Jan.
Yeah.
We all see how this is going to play out, right?
Yeah. I hope not.
Candy, that's okay. You don't necessarily have to have a channel to sell. And like for years, I would watch people on eBay, on YouTube, but I only sold on eBay. And the craft stuff tends to go onto Etsy. But if that's, you don't have to have a YouTube channel. I kind of my plan was a YouTube channel in 2021, and then 2020 happened.
Yeah.
So I kind of dove in without really having done enough research to know what I really needed to have set in place.
Did you get him? Did you get him?
So
Did you get that spider?
So it's I kind of bit off more than I could chew to get started there. And Christina asked, is eBay pricey to sell with? It has its good points and its bad points, and I think that they have snuck in some fees there that they have no business sneaking in. So I don't understand why, if you do not use their shipping, why then are they still taking a fee out for based on the shipping? That annoys the crap out of me.
Okay, so one thing when I started my channel, my eBay wasn't managed payments. It was just regular eBay, regular auctions, regular fees per post.
Right.
And I recently was converted to managed payments. And if you don't go into all of your auctions and change your shipping method, because all of my auctions that were up when that happened said that I accept payments through PayPal. That's why they charged you.
Really?
Yes. You have to
they
go.
Don't tell you that anywhere.
Anybody. You have to go. Now, right now, I don't have anything in my store. I think I have one book in my store. But once I started the live sales and once people started sending
you had some cool stuff in your store of what you managed to get listed, and it just went pretty quick.
It did. And as soon as I launched my channel, they were like, oh, this is your eBay store. And then like everything sold. And I was like, okay, that's great. But eBay was taking me a while to list stuff, because I was researching every little thing. And I was like, and
see, I've been at this longer, and it's funny is I had a couple emails after last week's live, and people were still, they didn't quite get it. So they were still comparing the two of us in that we're exactly in the same situation. And we're really not, because I've already done the part that you're going through in the house. I've already had to empty two of the houses and then deal with all the little stuff that I knew was worth selling. But I had the storage unit, which was fine. And I was making enough to pay for the storage unit itself, but I also had a full-time job. When that went, then there wasn't enough to pay all the bills and the storage unit. So I had to move all those boxes from the houses I emptied into here. So imagine what would you have to do if you had to give up that house, but you had to get everything out of it? Yeah. And that's where I'm further along than you. You have this house, but luckily for you, you get to keep everything there while you do
all
this.
I have is this house.
Yes.
I'm not sourcing, but it's funny, and he stepped out.
Well,
so he
and the quality of stuff you have is why you're not sourcing.
but what he doesn't realize, we're like, okay, we got to get through this house and that's it. And then we're moving on and everything else. His parents' house is still in existence. Family friend lives there now. And when him and his brothers inherit that house, it's a similar situation to my mom's. So I don't know what's going to happen. In that situation, there's 8 of them. So there's lots of siblings and everything else. So it certainly isn't something
there were 6 of us.
Yeah.
And I got the house, and kind of by default, the contents, because there were specific things that others wanted. And there was a list. I know there was a list. I helped her make the damn list. Do you think any of us know where she put the damn list? No. Yeah. So we did divvy out as much as possible, but at the same time, that left me with all the little stuff and all the fabric, because nobody wanted the fabric. Nobody wanted all the craft stuff. Nobody wanted, all the minutia. Nobody wanted the little stuff.
Yep.
And luckily, my brother Gary, who lives with me, he wanted the dining room set, and we all went, oh, thank God, because it's a Civil War era oak dining room set. It came into the house in pieces and was assembled in the dining room.
Yeah.
nobody wants to have to move this monster.
Yeah, I've got the same thing at my mom's house. It was originally my great grandparents, and it came from Germany, and it was disassembled. Wow. And I mean, it's a really heavy piece, and it's not something that, I mean, it depends on where we end up. Yeah. You know, when we sell that property and then sell this property, but it's massive. You know, the whole underneath is that great big, and it's all carved with all this intricate stuff.
Hey, does yours have the giant pineapple things like this on the legs and right in the middle?
I'll have to take some pictures of it. And
mine has that, and we always called them knee busters, because if you had to sit at that thing, you were always banging your knee if you were right at that end.
No, but I know it stretches out to 16 feet. It's got like 8 large leaves that go in it. And
ours stretches out to, I think, 12 or 14, but ours doesn't have extra leaves. It's huge, and then there's a piece that comes out from under each end that actually slides into the table, and each of those pieces are 2 feet long.
Yeah.
And they come out, and then they rise up, and they have not like curlicue springs, but they have a bent piece of metal kind of spring, and you have to push that down to slide it back in.
I'll send you pictures of it. But I mean, it's going to be a couple of days before I can like bend over and bend back up. And I mean, I'm trying my best here. I'm in a lot of pain. I
know, hon. Notice I'm not moving. Yeah, I can't move or you know.
Yeah.
And I know I could tell because like too. I mean, getting a little lightheaded. I could tell the meds are kicking in now.
But we're going to Florida soon. I forget the date, but my youngest son is moving to Florida, and we're following them down there. And Dean was going to take the truck, and we were going to put the trailer on the truck and take our bikes so that we can ride around in Florida and we've got family there and visit some friends and stuff. But my motorcycle's got a lot of broken pieces on it now from last night, so I don't know if we'll be able to get it fixed in time. I hope we do.
What month are you going in?
I think we're leaving on the 6th.
7th.
June 6th.
That's tight. Yeah. I don't know, Dean, I hear you in the background. What's the prognosis on the bike? Do you think her bike will be ready?
Yeah, as long as we get the parts in time.
Yeah, it's like the windshield broke, the front turn signal broke off, the clutch grip broke off, the mirror on that side broke off, the saddlebags are destroyed. I mean, I don't, you'd have to ask him what happened up on the road, but once I flew off the bike.
And you're sure you're all right with no cracks anywhere? You know it if you have cracks.
Nothing is broken. I'm just bruised.
It's all muscular.
I don't know how long I was rolling down the ravine, but it was a pretty sharp dip. But I mean, we have the Cardo units in our helmets, so we can talk to each other. So I could hear him going, "Oh my God." And I'm just going, I'm okay. And meanwhile, I'm rolling down a hill and, you know, I knew that my head wasn't getting damaged. The helmet was protecting my head. I didn't feel any searing pain as I was rolling down because I had all my gear on, you know, so I didn't, it just felt like it was going to be bumps and bruises. And then by the time my body stopped at the bottom, you know, he couldn't see me from the road because I was down. So I had to crawl out. So it hurts more than it did last night today, but.
Oh yeah, that's usual. And you would know it. I know from friends who ride, as they said, Deb and and John, the one who, I have a great picture on my computer somewhere. I got to find it sometimes and show you guys, of me on top of a gorgeous special edition Harley, and I don't ride.
Nice.
But he rode that to a court of honor, And I kept looking at it. He's just, get on the bike. I'll take your picture. I'm like,
Nice.
really? I can touch it?
You know,
So,
I mean, up until getting together with Dean, I was always very anti-motorcycle.
I've never been anti-motorcycle, but I think I left it too long to learn, because now that I've had a mini stroke, my balance is not what it should be. And you have to be able to balance right on a bike, unless I got a trike. Or like my son said, get a sidecar.
My first plan was to get a scooter, an automatic.
Oh,
you know, and that was my compromise, because, you know, once Dean got his bike, I was riding on the back with him, and I felt perfectly safe, you know, with him. And then he was like, you know, it would be really cool if you got your own bike. And I'm like, hell no, not happening. No way. And he was just like, okay. And then he'd like start slowly mentioning a little bit more. And I'm like, okay, maybe a
They've
scooter.
all told me that the things to always watch out for is your ankles, your wrist, your hands, and your feet.
So I had my boots
you'll
on.
be protected for a lot of the other stuff.
Yep.
But those are the most exposed, especially your hands.
I had my gloves on.
And getting hairline cracks. Hey, look who's here.
Brandon.
I was talking about you, Brandon.
I think he's gone already. He said he's in an auction.
Oh, yeah. He said it's not his turn, but
we were talking about you, Brandon.
Because he's doing an auction. Because they've got, like he said, he's got a lot of inventory. And since it's the summer before he goes to college, they want to clear out a lot. And they've got a lot of, some of it's recent and some of it is vintage. And you never know what he's going to have and find. That
I'm telling you, he's going
here's where he's at right now. Debbie and Max go thrifting.
I don't even know if I'm subscribed to them.
Yeah, I don't know that one. Oh, wait, if I do that, if I open up another thing for YouTube, then you will get feedback, so I can't drop any links.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not my usual self. This is
you're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine.
But I'm a badass. I got back on the bike.
You know, we both are having one of those days where we just, you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Dean told me that I was a badass because I got back on the bike and drove home.
Well, yeah.
Really slow.
Well, yeah, but like, what you got to do? What you got to do?
30 miles an hour.
30 miles an hour. Because at that point, the grips, the throttle and the clutch were just, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So here's another question for you. What was the most surprising find you've had so far? The thing that like surprised you the most that you found that it was there?
Just one thing?
Oh, I know the stamp collection because that was live. I mean, you filmed finding that. And you were like, what on earth? So I know that surprised you, but I don't think that was the most surprising.
I think that the most surprising thing so far has been that 600-pound hobnail cast iron safe.
That thing.
That I found behind a fake wall that I'm pretty sure my mom didn't even know it was there. I'm pretty sure that it was my great-great-grandparents' something having to do with
somewhere over time.
Yeah, because it definitely there's no way, because the stuff that was in front of it, that stuff has been there since I was a toddler.
Yeah,
and our house wasn't like this when I was growing up.
Yeah,
she was into a lot of things, and she did a lot of like refinishing furniture, and she did go antiquing. But
she also didn't she also have antique booths at that point?
No, she didn't have antiques booths until later in life. But every project she took on back then, she did it. You know, she got into candle making.
She finished it.
Right. So she got into candle making. There was a lot of candle making supplies. She made candles for everyone. She even apparently was going to open a candle creation company or something. But I mean, she was always crafty and creative. But that safe was mind blowing. I mean, we did research on it. We
Well,
found
didn't you put
it.
your hand through a wall and that's how you found it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, it was well hidden.
I lost my, because it wasn't really a wall. That was the thing. It was just like a piece of plaster was sitting there to look like a wall.
Yeah.
And it was sitting in a V shape, and somebody had actually just put like drywall tape.
Yeah.
But older. It wasn't drywall tape. It was whatever they used back then.
Whatever they used back then, right?
Yeah. And then in just the corner seam. So this wall was sitting there in the back corner of the closet with another piece on top. And I had shoved it just hard enough that I saw that it moved and there was carpet under it. Not the carpet that was in the room, but older carpet.
Yeah.
So even when the room was re-carpeted, when my mom had taken over the house, she didn't know it was there because she only ran the carpet up to that wall.
Yeah. So she had no way of knowing. The funny part is there's still stuff there from your grandparents?
Yeah, because my grandmother was raised in the house. So my great-grandparents were the owners of the house.
Could still be there somewhere.
Yeah, it could. It might, but I mean.
Meanwhile, Dean's having fun playing with it.
he just made up 4 more brass blanks for us to try. And if we can't get it open this time, we're gonna call a locksmith and we're gonna video. We're gonna do it on video, like Geraldo Rivera, and I'm gonna have my earmuffs on and my little microphone, and because that's what I've always imagined when we open the safe, because it could be full of bottle caps or it could be, we could be done with this house.
It could have been emptied out or it could have stuff in it. You just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least it's not a room full of dirt. Wasn't that one of Geraldo's things?
Yes.
Was a room full of dirt.
Yes. So, I mean, but there's been you've seen most of the surprises. That's the thing about my channel is you guys get to see the surprise at the same time I do.
Yeah.
Because I'm certainly not going to do video of this stuff after the fact.
Yeah. And who was it? What's his name? Larry? Antiques for Profit or?
Antiques and Profit. Scotty.
Antiques and Profit. Scotty. I was in one of his live chats last week, and they were talking about the differences of you and I, and that the fact that I might do an unboxing, but for the most part, all my stuff's in boxes. And so I had to explain to them why I can't walk you around the house showing you stuff, because it's not like that. It's not where it's out in the open. It was all packed.
Well, so Nancy, you haven't seen the trucks.
Oh, no. I don't think you've shown the insides of the trucks yet.
The trucks are packed like your house.
Yeah.
All in boxes.
It's all in boxes.
All from her booths. Numbered. Yeah. And somewhere there's a key that, the number of the box has the contents of the box. Yeah, I haven't found that.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think my most surprising find was finding I found some cash.
Okay.
That was a nice surprise because it came at a time when I needed an extra $500, and oh look, there's $500.
Yeah.
But I think other than that, the most surprising thing I found was actually not found in this stuff, but found in one of the houses I had to empty. And now it's one of my most prized possessions in my Halloween stuff, because it is the brass plate for a cemetery for my great uncle Alec, who was, passed away long before I was born, but they screwed up. And instead of saying just resting, it says jest resting, JEST.
Yeah, that would be kind of surprising.
I think it's absolutely hysterical. And my mom and my aunt were appalled, going, oh, how could they make a mistake like that? And I'm like, can I keep this? And then they're going, oh, this is awful. Why would you want to keep that? And I'm like, probably because she paid for it. She was going to keep it. After all, this is a woman who, would have been in the Great Depression, would have been in her 30s, because Annie Al was born in 1900. And
Well,
this was
usually,
her second husband. So I think it's awesome, and it's one of my most prized Halloween decorations.
usually the brass plates, I actually worked for a monument dealer for a
Mhm.
long time. The brass plates are usually from the funeral home, and they're just a marker until the tombstone's ordered.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where he's buried, so I don't know if
Yeah.
there's a stone or if there is just a marker.
Yeah. I mean, there's just, the list is just running through my head right now like a fast moving chat of all the things that have surprised me. It just, and even more so when we look it up and we look at the history of it and
Yeah.
find out. And some of it is not valuable because there just isn't, and there's like 3 collectors in the world that might be interested in one particular thing. But the stuff is so fascinating.
I had somebody ask to buy that Lifebuoy bar soap that I found.
Yeah.
At the end of the last video on the challenge room,
all the time.
And it's a collector of Lifebuoy stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, not now, not yet.
Why is he crying?
Because of the tag that was on it, because there's so little here from my father's childhood, and of my father before he was married. So I was like, yeah, that note from the school about washing your mouth out is just too priceless. And I still have family members that would like to see it, just to see it. And we haven't been able to get together yet. So I'm going to keep that for a while.
That's the other thing that has kind of surprised me. My parents were married for 10 and a half years. I was about 4 when they split.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the divorce was, a couple years later or whatever the case may be. There's no evidence of my father ever being in that house, nor do I have any memories of my father being in that house. But I mean, I find pictures of, of him being in certain rooms of the house and everything. And it's so weird because it doesn't seem like it belongs,
because if he was gone that early,
right.
The memories might be in there, but they're not necessarily, most people can't remember. They might have just a few select memories from before they were maybe 6.
Yeah.
And I can remember like maybe 4 different things from different times in there.
Yeah.
But most people don't have conscious recall of a lot of memories from before they were 6 years old. It just happens to be the way the brain works.
But none of his stuff. There's like everything was my mom.
No stuff.
Yeah, no stuff.
You're lucky there's pictures.
Well, I mean, that's the only reason I know that he ever lived there.
Yeah. We never knew that my dad's father had been married before and that there was a half sister until she wrote to our grandmother.
Wow.
And there were photographs of Pop that were cut in half. And we never knew why. And then we found out why, because that had been the first wife.
Yeah. One of my girlfriends joked about that. She was like, okay, so now that you've launched your whole life story out on the internet, now you're going to find that thing that's worth like $250,000. And all of a sudden you're going to have this super secret sibling that's going to appear out of nowhere and stake claim on the property and everything.
No, that's in my family. That's the running joke in my family.
Yeah.
Because dad liked to play. Let's just put it that way. So, and then one niece, because of the big fabric pile that's in the dining room, that's all along one wall and is 4 feet high. My oldest niece used to tell all the kids that came after her, well, Aunt Nancy didn't want another brother, so the 7th child's hiding in the fabric and Grandma never noticed.
You've got 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got 8.
Yeah, so Sarah used to tell them all that there was don't make Aunt Nancy mad. She'll put you with the other brother.
Nice. Yeah. No, I mean it's hard on people, definitely, when they inherit places like this and there's a lot of siblings involved. I've seen it. It's just
It can be. The biggest problem for us was the fact that nobody, including me, knew I was getting the house.
Yeah, you told me that.
My sister knew because she was executor.
Yeah.
And I know the brother in California and his wife had said, you know, you've always been there. You moved back in to take care of mom. You were there taking care of dad. It's only, you know, right because you're also taking care, you're raising your nephew from another brother as your own kids. So, you know, I mean, it's only fair that you would get the house because who's going to take care of Gary? And you've got Mike and you're the one that's always there. And they would tell me this, but nobody ever actually said or even asked, are you willing to take the house and take care of Gary? Would have been nice to have been asked.
So you talk a lot about goals in your videos, that you have to have goals. What are some of your current goals that you're working on?
My current goal is I've got to get I've got to have an office space where I can, when I need to work at this, I need to be able to shut a door because I get interrupted a lot, not just by the cat, but by the brother. And I know he means well, but some days he's bored and he's here like every 20 minutes he comes and finds me. And when you're trying to list stuff or write out notes to go in your pack, it breaks your focus.
So what needs to happen to make
I still have some more stuff to get out. Unfortunately, I've had to give up on getting a set of shelves. There was a bookcase I really wanted to get, and I just had no way to get it here. I can't move it alone, and I couldn't find anybody with a truck, and it would have cost me $20 to get this nice wooden bookcase that would have fit the door to that room. That door opens and there's only a small clearance behind that door. And all the shelving that I see for sale at Home Depot and Lowe's is too wide. That door will immediately bang into it. So I wanted something like an old wooden one that was narrow to get behind there. And it was a 7-foot high bookcase. And it would have fit right behind that door. And then I could have gotten 2 of the wider ones so that would be this way. And then get 2 that come this way out into the room and put them back to back. And so that would give me a huge amount of shelving right there. And then some lower shelves to go underneath a piece that's hanging on the wall. But I need to get that room, at least the one side, emptied so I can scrub the walls, slap up a quick coat of paint, and then start getting shelving. And I've got to figure out how the hell I'm going to get it. And I needed to talk to Paul, but then he said he sold his moving business. A friend of mine has another china closet he's going to give me. I need to get it here. And it's a 1920s little china closet, which is, again, a great idea because then there's some stuff that you really need to protect. There's stuff that I find that like spaghetti ware, stuff that has that little porcelain stuff. That stuff is a nightmare to clean dust out of.
Yeah.
So I want somewhere, I don't mind having another china closet that I can put stuff in that I can keep any dust away from it. I don't have to worry if we get a puppy or a kitten or, you know, if the great nephew is here at any point because he's only 4. That'd be fine. And it's a very small one. So it would fit in that room. It would actually fit in the room next to the one I bought. There's enough wall space. I could put them both on the one wall and then have all the shelving over on this other wall. And it would give me a huge amount of workspace.
Yeah.
So I've got that to do. And then
so
the
like
next
the room that you're in now,
do something about the packing room because that table has got to get lifted up because it's way too low. The table I pack on.
Yeah.
And having dropped out of a tree as a kid, certain angles I can't do for very long, or my small of my back spasms because the small of my back flattened out when I dropped into the mud. And so I don't remember the landing, thank goodness, but the muscles atrophied. So the muscles in the very small of my back are the same size they were when I was 10. Yeah. So they never grew any bigger. And so that has been a problem my whole life. Wow. Hello, Julie Mumford. Late to the party, but you're here. You know, we're still on for a little bit longer. So that's the biggest goal right now is to get that. And then for the table upstairs in the packing room and getting that all organized, because it's a mess up there. But I have to figure out how to raise that table because that table does not have 4 legs.
Bed risers.
It's an old table that has, it comes down and then it has 2 long flat pieces this way.
Oh.
So I'm thinking cinder blocks. I have them.
Can you design something for her?
I'm thinking cinder blocks. What are you mumbling, Jan? You look like you're up to something. She's starting to smile.
He's going to design something to make that go up.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll send you a picture. Because because the thing is weird the way I got it off of I curb shopped that table and an old boyfriend got it here for me.
Yeah.
And he helped get it up to the 3rd floor. So
yeah.
So but it probably was a cheap kitchen table because like the top is all just press board, but it's functional, it works. It's great for what I need, but it's just too low. So I'll get that squared away. But I've still got to figure out how to get this other china closet because I already had to give up on that bookcase. I don't want to give up on this china closet. And he's got to move by the end of June. So
so before we come down to Pennsylvania for a visit, you're going to need to send me some dimensions.
Okay.
Of certain areas, so we can like bring the materials that we need to build you some shelves.
I have some wood in the basement. I just don't have all the right tools. The damp killed the circular saw. There's a table saw. I don't even know if it still runs.
It smells really good. It's very distracting. Sorry.
Now on Smell-O-Vision, babes. Look, she's blushing. Oh dear, we made Jan blush.
Sorry.
Okay, so guys in the chat, it can't be just me, right? Does she or does she not look like she was up to something here? Not just with babes, the 2 of them are up to something. And why do I have a feeling that Paul's in on this? No. Slightly. Yeah, Paul was already talking about spilling the beans,
Oh yeah, that's about his personal life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know anything.
You don't know anything. No.
Neither do you.
No. I have some guesses, but I'm keeping them to myself too.
No.
Nope. That's as I tell my scouts sometimes. Some things are not your tale to tell.
Ouch.
Kitty. Yep. Sometimes some things are not your tale to tell, so you just don't do it.
Yep. But I'm excited about the thing I'm not supposed to tell.
That part we figured out. So Julie she's listening while she tackles a back bedroom that turned into all storage. Now, Julie, that's why I have the Black Hole Challenge. The Black Hole Challenge is about tackling things like that. Any ideas on where to take a printer, copier, fax machine?
So in our area, we have recycling stations. So there's a couple of different places where you can recycle because that's considered an electronic.
Yeah, that's considered an electronic.
Sometimes you have to pay a fee. Like there's an eco park where you have to pay fees. Now in the town where I work in Brockport, there's actually a place where you can just dump it. And they'll recycle all that stuff. Because sometimes, in TVs and things like that, there could be like mercury stuff. Why does this kitty keep climbing me?
Because Kitty loves you. I told you. Kitty picked you. Julie, in my area, they only have them periodically, which is a problem. I know I still have 2 old computers upstairs in the attic because I can't figure out how to get photos off of them because they're the only photos I have of Mike for about 10 years are all locked in those computers. We had a hard time for his Eagle Scout Court of Honor because I had no photos. They were all trapped in those old computers.
Yeah.
So they're in the attic because at some point I need to have the money to take them to somewhere where they can tap into those hard drives and get them. They mean that much to me.
I mean, Julie,
there's so few photos of him because everything was on a digital camera. It went into the computer, and the plan was to then eventually upload them to someplace where I could just send the file and get it printed out. And then there were too many other financial obligations, and it didn't happen. But
if the printer works, you can donate it.
But the other thing is, if the printer, copier, fax machine, if it works, I have gotten rid of a printer copier that was given to me that worked. And I called around, and it went to a childcare facility near me that runs a daycare, and they needed one. They didn't have one. So I found a place to donate it. Now, I had called a couple of, I called the local Catholic elementary school. I called a couple of churches. I called around, and I think the one that the one of the churches recommended checking at a daycare center. And so I made, I think, 8 phone calls before I got to that daycare center, and they said they'd be glad to have it, and I just gave it to them.
Yeah.
So because of the fact that in my area, you only have twice a year where you can drop off electronics. And there is a fee. I didn't mind the fee, but there's only twice a year, which is kind of crazy for how urban my Delaware County is, so that's a challenge. So are there any other questions for us in the chat today? We have 37 people and 31 thumbs up. We have more than that. Well, I just lost myself here. Wait a minute.
I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to play in my shop.
You want to play in your shop?
That's what I want to do.
You want to show us what's in your shop?
I've shown.
Hi, Dee.
I think I did a little bit of shop video in one of the Babes contraption machines.
You showed us the machines from a distance. I know that.
Yeah, I'll have to do a close-up one. I'm on a laptop that has to stay plugged in. It doesn't have a battery in it right now, so I can't move the camera around. But yeah.
What is your oldest machine that you have there?
The sewing machines?
Yeah.
1880? Probably around 1880. Yeah, they're treadles. I mean, people don't really buy treadle machines anymore. When I first started doing this, I wanted to learn, and I learned on one that was like $5.
You need to be near an Amish community.
Yes, I've donated, and that's what I was getting at. I ended up donating several of the treadle machines after I played with them and learned how to restore them and everything else, and then restored the cabinets. But more often now, there's just a lot out there, so they don't necessarily need them, and I don't have the time to do it anymore. But I've been
my poor sewing machine. I had it rehabbed, and then I sewed on it for about 2 years, and then now it's been shut up in my bedroom for the last 20 years, just sitting there, poor thing. So then I'll probably, when I finally get it open, I'll probably have to have it rehabbed again because the oil have all sat and might have gotten icky after 20 years of non-use. So
yeah, usually dust collects in old oil, so that's why it has to be.
Yeah, because it's closed up in the cabinet and all, but I miss having that. So when we finally get the playroom and the plumbing fixed, because there's a leak in both pipes, now there's a leak in the cold water one. So in the playroom, which is where my mom always had her sewing machine, but it was called the playroom because that's also where all the toys were kept for us growing up. And but the leak caused part of the ceiling to come down, and now the cold water pipe has started to leak.
Yeah.
So the financial side of things, that's the other goal.
Yeah.
There's always one of each. What am I doing in the house? And then what do I have to pay for?
Yeah.
Now, Julie
Well,
asked
you
about
know-
the Black Hole Challenge, and I want to let her know that that is a series of videos that's on my channel. The Black Hole Challenge, I started because I had this room that was a catch-all room that you couldn't even walk into the doorway. And so I started a Black Hole Challenge, and I encouraged others to go after that spot, that room, that little area, whatever it was, where they've just kind of been deferring having to deal with it. And even if it's just an hour a week, take some time and start going through it and dealing with it. So you can find that on my channel, on this Overstuffed House. You can find that. And I know a couple of people have posted it on their Instagrams about having joined it. And so you can see what it is. And I try, in the ones I show, I try to always encourage everybody, because I will always be everybody's biggest cheerleader about having to go through all kinds of stuff.
My
Because
mom's entire estate is my black hole.
yes, for you, yeah, it's you have a house.
Yes.
The nice part for you, though, is you have a home you can get out of it. And I'm living in the middle of this.
Yeah.
Which drives me crazy some days, but and on the Attic Treasures, yes, I did get your email, and it sounded like you wanted me to pack it all in one box. I'm a little worried about that slag glass being in the same box, but I can repack it this afternoon so it's all in one for you, and then I will readjust it to all be in one. I just worry because the more I've been finding out about those slag glass boxes, they can be really fragile shipping because of the lead. It's a hobbyist piece, and it's a stained glass piece, but because they use lead in shipping, sometimes the lead can crack, which I never would have thought of. That the lead could crack.
Broke.
So, really?
Yeah.
Darn, wouldn't have thought that.
Me neither. We've learned a lot this week.
Yes, Julie, the Black Hole Challenge is on my playlist. And Teresa, you don't know how I do it? I didn't. For 5 years, when Mike moved out, I didn't. Then everything hit, because when you're raising a child on your own, there was no time to grieve. Mike was 12 and turned 13 a couple months later, and when Mom died. And so you got a 13-year-old kid, and I'm active in Boy Scouts, so you just kept going, and you never really take that time to grieve. And of course I do, Jan. But once he was out of the picture, because when I got downsized out of the job from the museum, I couldn't pay for his school anymore, because we live in a technically what's considered a distressed city, so a distressed school district. So I was sending him to private Catholic schools and paying the tuition, and I could no longer do that. He had to move in to a one-room apartment with his dad to finish high school. Now take that out of there, that leaves me with nothing to help keep me moving forward. And the grieving then finally hit, and the depression hit. And so it took me 5 years to finally get my head wrapped around all that and get on medication with the right kind of doctor and have a little bit of therapy. They actually felt I was actually in a better place than I thought I was. Took them a year to make me believe that, though. And now I'm finally kind of okay. There are moments where I will unpack something and it'll like catch me. In the last Black Hole Challenge video, there was a box that I opened it up, and there was still the Christmas tag from my mother. And it was these great fairy pictures, and there's 4 of them, and there's one for each season. And that was like, all of a sudden your heart just goes, and I know there are some places that are really going to be a challenge, because I have not touched my mother's cedar chest. And that one's going to be rough. All I know that's in there is there's letters in there from her and Dad during the war. which she always told me, burn them, don't read them.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm reading those suckers. And her wedding gown's in there.
Remind
But
me
other
of
than
that.
that, I don't know what's in there because she never let anybody in there. So that one's
tell you
going to be a
something.
challenge. What?
Well, you got me echoing somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know how or why.
Do you have YouTube open?
Yeah,
Oh,
but no
just-
sound on.
Okay. So apparently I have a new follower from Berlin
Oh, wow.
that speaks
Cool.
German and English and is willing to translate some of this German stuff for me.
Oh, so lucky.
Yep.
I'm sitting on family German stuff for years because I can't read it.
Yep. Because I think the thing in my video was when I found the German accordion from wartime, and there were letters in the bottom.
That's
that
a
were in
beautiful.
German.
That's a high-end accordion too.
Really? See,
Yeah.
eBay's not the right market for some of this stuff. Nope.
No, it isn't the right market for some stuff. Some specialty stuff you do. Julie from AJ's Retro says that it took 2 years to finally empty your mom's purse. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it can. There'll be certain things that you're going to find to be a lot harder than others. I had no problem with the purse.
I haven't touched most of the
couldn't deal with the clothing. I couldn't deal with the everyday clothing that she wore all the time.
Yeah.
When I found some of the vintage clothing that she still had, some of the dresses from the 60s, which, that was fine. But the stuff that, I had last seen her in like the week before, I couldn't. I had to get my sister-in-law, my niece, to come help deal with that. And I could not take the tubing for the air for the oxygen machine she had to sleep with at night. I couldn't handle that. Yeah. And so somebody else had to come and take care of that because I just couldn't.
There was
you work with what you are ready for. If you're not ready for it, it's okay to put it aside.
Yeah. I definitely hear that go.
I can't figure out why.
Not of me, you goof, the kitty.
I don't know.
Photographic evidence that it sleeps.
There we go. Got one.
He's all curled up around my mouse.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yes, they do sleep occasionally.
All right, Nance. You want your song?
Yeah. Oh, wait, that wasn't what I wanted. How do I do this?
You can make yourself little.
I'm trying. I don't know how.
It's the
not that one.
Yep. No, wait.
Nope.
Go back to that one. Go back to that one. Now take my window and drag it on top of your window.
There we go.
Paul just taught me that.
Switch seats with me for a second.
Okay, you want my seat?
Yeah.
For a second.
I am so technology challenged. It's not even funny.
All right. Figured seeing how it's Sunday, I'd play something gospel. Is everybody all right with that?
Sure.
All right. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste, glory divine. Days of salvation, purchase of God, born of His Spirit, washed in His blood. This is my story. This is my song. Praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story. This is my song. Praising my Savior all the day long. Perfect submission, perfect delight, Visions of rapture now burst through my sight. Angels descending, bring from above echoes of mercy, whispers of love. This is my story. This is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story. This is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My
Oh,
son
yeah.
hollers at me because I don't sing anymore, and he is getting really insistent.
Actually, I used to play for church. So, yeah, that's how I know some of those. Get back
Oh,
here.
that's cool.
Let me bring Jen.
My favorite hymn is actually an old Quaker one. It's called Simple Gifts. And there's a lot of different arrangements, but I really like the earliest one because it really is nice and simple and a nice line. And
His parents were actually in a band.
really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. The first Thanksgiving that I spent with Dean and his family, I was absolutely mind blown. Somebody in the family had mentioned that they haven't jammed in years. So guitars, bass, singers, a full drum set. They all showed up. I actually have a clip.
Yeah.
I have a couple clips I could post on my YouTube. It was awesome. Every single member of his family is musical. And it was just, I had spent 6 years alone, 6 or 7 years alone on holidays. And it was always just me and my mom. And not this past Christmas with Dean, but the Christmas before, that was rough. That was bad. I was really, really low. And then I launched my channel a couple months later, just looking for a lifeline, but man, it was amazing. It was really, really cool. Music heals the soul. Definitely.
Dean, you're getting a following here, man.
I have Pamela Blanchard offered me a car for him. Offered to trade me a car.
Oh, I should play that other song. Huh?
Oh my God!
I don't know what she wants to do.
For a car. Man, what do I have to trade for a car? My poor car has 208,000 miles on it.
So my car has 190,000 miles on it. It's a 2011.
Yeah, but I'll bet you've had regular maintenance on yours.
Yes. I do have regular maintenance. I inherited it.
My brother beats the hell out of my car. He let it run out of oil. That's why the hell it was stalling. And then the gas, God, you can tell the drugs are kicking in.
The thing with the stuff. That's what I said.
The radiator cap. He didn't have it on tight. And so when I got on the highway, I heard this pop noise. The radiator cap literally blew off because he didn't have it on tight.
Yeah.
And then the car kept overheating. That didn't help that poor thing either.
Yeah.
So
I was driving to the post office Saturday morning to drop off a whole bunch of shipments. And I got pulled over, and the cop pulls up, and I'm sitting here going, what did I do? He comes over to the passenger side window, and I'm like, what did you pull me over for? And he's like, you really don't know? And I'm like, no, I wasn't breaking any laws. you know, and he's like, well, there's a couple things. I'm like, oh shit. he says, first of all, your registration is suspended. I go,
What?
And I'm like, does it say how long it's been suspended? And he's like, no, we don't see that. We just see that it's suspended. And he's like, did you have any insurance changes? Well, I did have some sort of change like a year prior, and the insurance company had screwed something up, and my registration had been suspended. And then I called the insurance company, and supposedly they fixed everything. You know?
Obviously they didn't.
Right. And I was like, okay, well, hopefully I can get that taken care of. I'm sorry, I wasn't aware. And he's like, second thing, you were on your phone. And I'm like, no, I wasn't on my phone. I don't know where I'm going. I've never been to this post office. I was using GPS. And he saw it on my screen that I was actually using GPS and not on the phone. And he was like, and your inspection is expired from last November. And I'm like, okay, I will. So then he says, you know, he goes, okay, sit tight or whatever. And he comes back, and he only wrote me a ticket for the inspection. So I called Babes, and I'm like, I got to go make an appointment to get tires because my car won't pass inspection because of the tires. So I made an appointment to go get tires. So I go to the tire place. I'm like, I need 4 new tires. I need an inspection. I need that taken care of today. So they get under the car, and they're like, the rear brakes won't pass. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, see, mine needs new brakes.
And now for this ticket, you have to have it taken care of within 48 hours.
Oh,
So we didn't have time. We don't have time to get parts for Babes to do the brakes.
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, do the brakes. He comes back. All the sway bar links are one is broken completely, and the other 3, and he's like, now this will not fail your inspection, so don't panic. You don't need to do this. And I'm like, we're just so busy. Just okay, just take care of it. And then he came back and he said, well, of course, we're doing the tires, and now that we're doing the sway bars, the alignment is required, so we got to add alignment. So anyway, this sticker price is going up
unfortunately,
and up and up,
they'll do that to women.
But
you got to be careful.
He was checking, and he was
good.
He was reasoning with me, you know, the time that we have, the time available that we have right now, and it was worth the extra cost. So the sales that I've done on my YouTube channel, including the shipping, we had some things break, so we had to refund some money, and we had to buy shipping supplies and stuff like that. So anyway, the total that came down from all the sales that I've done after all of the expenses and everything was $1,340 we had made in the stuff that we had sold. The bill for my car was $1,339.73. That's how much God blesses me. Every single time that happens to me in my life, somehow it's taken care of, and I don't have to freak out.
Yep.
So
I honestly think that now that I'm getting all of the invoices caught up, because I kept having like serious health issues crop up, and that I honestly couldn't get to packing on the 3rd floor, and so, but now that I'm getting it all out, I'm seeing all this add up into PayPal, and then I'm also noticing that the car is having more and more issues.
But
sometimes things do work out. Sometimes they do work out.
You got to keep the faith.
So
now this Pippi Longstocking 2020. This is. Do you need to highlight that comment?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Poor dear, you've had a lot going on.
That is awful.
It is.
How long ago did this happen?
And I understand about having things disappear that were valuable. I've actually had that within my own family. While Mom was alive, we had that problem for a while there. And it's never easy, no matter who did it. And then to have a parent beat, man, that's just at 21. I can't imagine. I mean, I was 30 when my father passed away, and his death was sudden from an aneurysm. And I can't imagine being 21, being even younger.
Pippi, if you send me an email, I'll make sure that you get on our prayer list over here. Our local prayer list. That's terrible.
Brandon is back, and he says he's going to have another buy it nail sale with his mom tomorrow.
Nice.
At 6:15 Eastern time on his channel. So don't let the name throw you off. Lego Man of the Midwest.
No, that's Brandon.
Yes, he's got a thing for Legos. He's really good at it, but he does do a lot of nice jewelry.
I see his other comment too. He said, Janet, was it fun being on Dr. Lori? I saw you, Brandon. You were on the same show. You made it to as a live guest as well. Now I was like so freaking excited. I was already on the phone with Babes and other people telling them that I had been live with Dr. Lori, and I was like, to the second look, I was like, oh my God, it's Brandon.
Pippi.
Brandon's on there too. So yeah, I was excited. I was really excited. And she appraised that horse painting that's in the stairwell for me. I like Dr. Lori is very difficult for some people to handle. I mean, she can be a very abrupt and she
can be very abrupt, and while she does know the antiques market, absolutely knows that market, but there are secondary markets where things have a different value than from the antique market, and that's where I've had people say, well, she doesn't know everything. No, she doesn't, but she knows her market.
But she's
good at that, and she's great to get stuff identified and learn from.
She's actually been changing her focus.
Yeah, she is starting
on resellers.
She is starting to pick up on that.
Yeah,
and that there is a whole different market there, and she's not everybody's cup of tea.
No,
but then
I know.
Neither am I.
But you know what? I found her at a time where I knew nothing.
Yeah.
And the fact
I've watched her too. She's a great place to learn stuff.
Videos available on a binge link with free knowledge. I learned to get past, the times that she's rude and crass and things like that. And I respect her for her knowledge.
That huge amount of knowledge. Her and George, the antique nomad.
I didn't know about George until I got on
every time he's on, he teaches. You know, you're always learning so much stuff from George.
Yeah.
Which is great. And George encourages people to, if you're really having trouble with identifying something, you can email him, and you can send him a picture, and may take him a couple of days to get to you, but he will get to you. He usually always answers the emails. He's fantastic. But he travels coast to coast. It's funny when he was putting pins in the map, at Real Nifty Vintage, had an open house at his little shop. Yeah. And George stopped in, but he had to put 3 pins on the map because he has a place in Florida, he has a place in Kentucky, and he has a place in Washington. So, but he travels. That's his circuit across the country every year, because he is an actual antiques dealer, doing all the big shows. So it is 5:12. And I know Thrift U has started their sale early today.
Oh.
And so their sale has started live. And Pink Elephant Parlor has her sale going on.
Yeah.
So there's, if anybody feels like going to shop when we're done, you have 2 great places to go. Oh, there's Kitty.
Yeah, Kitty wants kisses. I'm gonna try to I'm gonna do my invoices. Babe's got everything packed. Do my invoices, and then keep taking the ibuprofen. Again, if anybody comes to your video because they hear that Jan got into a motorcycle accident, I'm okay. I had all my gear on. I'm just bruised up and very, very tired.
Now, Jan, you having your sale Wednesday night?
Yep, we're having it Wednesday night. I haven't posted the thing yet. And
your sale starts at
8
Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not having a sale this week because I'm getting my second shot on Tuesday. So I cleared my schedule, considering that I had an allergic reaction to the first shot. It was a mild reaction, but still having your tongue swell up is a little scary. I'm hedging my bets here, and I cleared my schedule. So what I did is I have told Serendipity by Melanie,
she's going to go forever, she said.
And she can go as long as she wants because she's been sliding into that little hour in between Trusty Huckster Mercantile, Patrick, and my sale, and been doing brooch sales. Yep. And so now she's got that whole night. She's taken over the time slot I'm usually in, and her channel is Serendipity by Melanie. She is in Canada. But when it's that small stuff, I did buy. I mean, I bought this from her. This lovely little pin, because I love that color pin.
Her location in Canada, Nance, is like California and Washington people.
She's over on the far side.
Yes,
but the shipping for that jewelry, for the little stuff, is really really not expensive. I mean, sometimes it's less expensive for her to send little stuff like that to us than it would be for us to send it to her.
Yes.
So don't be so afraid of the shipping from some of these buyers, some of these sellers that are in Canada, especially when it's jewelry, because the shipping is not totally crazy. So she'll be doing Thursday at hers, and I'll make sure I try to put up a little promo for her on my channel, like I did for you when you took my spot.
Yep, that was my first solo sale.
I know.
God, we were exhausted. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people still here, and I'm ending the sale. This crazy.
I was dumbfounded because last week we just kept going.
Yeah.
And because I always try to pull at least 10 items extra, and we went through all of it. And then I realized, because we were goofing off in the chat and laughing and having fun, that I'd gone for 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean,
I usually try to stop by 3, because by then I'm usually wiped out.
We ended up doing 4 hours on last Wednesday or the Wednesday before or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, the first time we had to work, we work full time.
Yeah.
Both of us work 40 plus hours a week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, plus a teenager and plus a kitten.
Yeah.
You know, and so we've got to find the balance. But man, it is so hard to walk away from potential people that will buy stuff and, you know.
Yeah, but look at it this way. You've got a platform, you've got 2, but you got to juggle. It's like me. I technically have 3, but it's hard to have the time because I'm behind in 1. It messes you up for the other 2. So my eBay and Etsy haven't really been refilled because I'm still trying to take care of the backlog I got myself into.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. So I'm going to go look into that. She says Tiger Balm for muscle.
Tiger Balm is good. Epsom salts are good because there's magnesium in them, and the best way to get magnesium is to let it absorb through the skin.
Yeah.
I have turmeric tea.
I feel like that would sting at me because this arm is all like road rash.
Well, it's not really a salt per se. So. Okay.
I mean, it's not road rash. It didn't have road in it because it was inside my leather jacket.
It's an abrasion. Yeah. It's still an abrasion. So.
Yeah. The rest of it is all, I mean, this is going to be all black and blue and purple and stuff.
Yeah, you're going to be turning purple.
Yep.
So, but you know.
What's character?
Yeah. And I've always found, because when I bruise. Yeah. You know, it'll be big ones. And I've always found that having to drink a lot of water, because you've got to help the blood flush the excess that it's pushing into with a bruise spot. You've got to help it flush that blood out of there. And sometimes you've got to make sure you're extra well hydrated.
Well, thank you for having me, Nance, even though
you're welcome.
Lump on a log today.
Last thing, you're not a bump on a log. We need to make a decision about next week.
Sunday?
Yeah, because on the 30th, I have to work 5 to 10.
Okay.
So if you want to line up a guest for the second half, and I can stay till 4, and then you can have it, because it's on your channel next week, and then you can have another guest from 4 to 5.
Or we could just send babes off with the Jan cam through the house.
Oh, and then I'm gonna miss all the resellers porn.
Well, you can watch it back.
Well, that's true. I could watch it back and
You
go,
can watch it
"Oh, I know
back.
what that is. I know what that is." Yeah, you've seen how I watch your videos.
Yeah.
I was like typing away,
love
going,
it.
"Hey, you know, this
I
is
love
this, and this is this, and this is this." And
Yeah. Yeah. We might just go digging through stuff for the last hour. I think we'll plan on that.
yeah,
Or have
that would be cool. I think
Yeah.
everybody would love seeing that, wouldn't you guys?
I mean, obviously I won't
So.
be all too interactive with chat, but maybe a little interactive with
Yeah.
I can send him off. You know, maybe
Yeah.
we'll discover the truck bodies.
Yeah, because I got my schedule. I knew we would hit this sooner or later where I had to be in at work at 5.
That's okay.
And so I'm like, well, here's what we could do is I could stay on here until 4, and then you can either have another person or do something there.
I mean, if there's a day that one of us can't make it, we can always do a sale.
Yeah, that's true. We could do anything we want. It's our chat.
Yep.
So, well, you guys have a good day and a good week. And we'll see you at Jan's sale on Wednesday night.
Yep.
And Serendipity by Melanie will start at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on her
Thursday.
channel for her sale. And it's just going to keep going.
That's on Thursday,
I won't
right?
be on. That's on Thursday night.
Okay.
That's on Thursday. And right
Okay.
now, the only ones I know live right now are Thrift You and the Pink Elephant Parlor, both having live sales right now.
I think I'm going to go try that Epsom salt soak.
Yeah.
And see if I can get some of the.
Yeah. And if worse comes to worse, then just, keep your arms up if it bothers the abrasion there. Just keep your arms up.
It does. I'm trying.
But, yeah. And have babes around in case you can't get back out of the tub.
I got a lifeguard. I'm good.
You need a lifeguard.
All right, Nan. See you later.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye,
Goodbye, everybody.